Hello guys. It's your friend here, from ninjavibeZ. We are back to you another awesome Naruto what-if tale. What if Kakashi betrayed Naruto but Jiraiya and Ria Zanpaku made him godlike with a legendary harem part 4. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now, let's start the fanfic. You will know suffering beyond imagining for this. Hideki Azumaki Kusha snarled Witho committed the ultimate rage and hate, being the only thing alive in her dead eyes. Izan, you betrayed your comrades and your own students just to gain favor with the OU or no son of mine. Ahaki Tsukumo, the famed White Fang and greedy council. Ikakashi's father shouted. He was ashamed of what his son had become. You spit on her memories. Remember that I died protecting Naruto from a mob that you didn't even care enough to stop. He was only a baby and you saw fit to let him die. And now you betray him again so you can cozy up to that Uchiha brat. How dare you? Ain screamed, her disfigured face twisted into a snarl at him as they all advanced upon him further. Bu. But I thought that I was doing the right thing. The council said. Kakashi feebly defended. The boyzo. Sasaki was supposed to be the Ville's savior. You betrayed is more honorable than you could ever be, and the Uchiha's soul is rotten to the core. The council only sought its own interests. As did you. Tsukumo yelled. You're spouting _, and you know it, Kakashi. He is the container that keeps Amito Bosama before him, Konoha safe from the wrath of the Kailobi. Like myself, Minato sealed the Kyobi within him with the explicit instructions that he was to be seen as a hero for what he had to endure. Akusha roared. So you took the word of those self-serving power mongers over mine. You brainless, gutless worm. I will see to it that you will join me in the Shinigamis belly for all eternity for your betrayal. Minato bellowed. But Sensei H dishonored your signature jutsu. He killed you. Kakashi pleaded, to which the deceased Hokage backhanded him viciously. That jutsu Ishi's by right. Nar is my legacy and so it is his birthright. I sacrificed myself so that the village would be safe, and I chose Naruto because I could see within him the strength to hold the Kailobi prisoner. It was never your place to judge my decision. Minato shouted with all of the rage and anger left in his departed soul. Enough with these excuses, Kakashi. The Uchiha, my clan, care nothing for the village. I should know because it was Fugaku that nearly had me exiled from the clan for caring about the village over our clan. I thought that you understood that loyalty. I thought you were my friend. You betrayed my trust and abused the gift that I gave to you. Now I want it back. Obito screamed as he bore down on Kakashi, ripping his sharing eye out. The rest seemed to follow suit along with him. Traitor, scum, liar, die. Kakashi let out a blood-curdling scream as they got their hands on him and proceeded to rip him to shreds in a grand and gruesome display. Kakashi's apartment. Kakashi let out a terror-filled scream that snapped him back into the waking world. A cold sweat chilling him to the bone as he shook like a leaf in the wind. A sob of anguish escaped his throat as he spent the rest of the night awake, too frightened of what other nightmares lurked within his dreams should he fall asleep again. Konoha Academy. The next day, Naruto had picked up Sakura for her first day back at the academy, putting her on his shoulders and rushing her there via the Naruto Express, her giggling madly the whole way. That was fun, Enshin. Little Sakura cheered as they arrived at the front gate amid a crowd of onlookers, many of them not terribly happy to see him. A quick glare from the young Chunin was all it took to make them mind their own business as he set her down. Now, Sakura-Aiken, be good for Iruka-sensei. Okay. Either your Ka-chan or myself will pick you up, ni after you're done. Nar told her as he gave her a quick pat on the head. Okay-chan, Sakura chimed as she ran inside. Upon entering the building, she quickly ran into the classroom that Iruka specified, a class full of children her own age. Haruka walked into the room and couldn't help but be shocked when he saw her in person. It was like he walked back in time and he almost had to check the date to be's. I am. Sure. Are you Aruruka-sensei? Sakura asked him, tugging at his sleeve. I am Yumino Aruruka, an instructor here. He answered with a grin. Good. Naruto told me that you were nice and to listen to you, Aruka-sensei. The little girl chirped. He did he? Well, he was a student of mine until around 6 months ago. Haruka told her with a chuckle, making her gasp. Really? Wow. Then I'm going to learn a lot so that I can be like Nan, Sakura exclaimed as she took a seat. You really surprise me, Nar. I'm so proud of you, Haruka whispered to himself as he went inside to begin classes for Ryouzanpaku. Nar had just returned to the compound to find a note the day from Rachi pinned to his door, so he read it. Dear Narutkin, I just realized that Evanthaw were engaged to be married. You've never taken us out on any dates. I think that tonight we can fix that. Meet me at Shushi is at 6 p.m. sharp. Hina-chan and Ranka-chan are planning similar things, so better keep on your toes. Love, Rachi. Damn, she's right. I feel like such an Nar muttered as he slumped against the wall just as the compound's resident pervert showed up. Ah, Nar-chan, there you are. Arrow-sensei. What have you been up to this morning? Kinai asked. Nay just dropped Sakura-chan off at school and now I find this. Nar told his teacher as he handed him the note. Ah, yes. I forgot about her unique circumstances and her newly. Yeah, she is. Found relations. She is your cousin like Mu-chan. No, he asked quietly. It's been real hard to wrap my head around this, but ever since I found out that she wasn't even in control of herself, it was easy to forgive her and start over. Naruto, Nar confided. I see. That is a wise thing to say. It's actually better this way, Chan. Now, might I suggest a few things on this, moving on to this little haha letter. Before Nar could little date, he asked, wiggling his eyebrows around suggestively of and respond, Akisum walked up, his eyes doing that weird light thing. Where were you for our training? Narokan, he asked patiently, dropping Sakura-aiken off at. Why, what ISO are forgiven? No school. Akiyama-sensei. Nar answered quickly. Oh, okay, this business about a letter. The mustachio asked. To which Nar answered him quickly, I see. In that case, may I suggest taking in a no play in the Edo district? Aki suggested, don't do that boring crap. Hit the town. Gaki. Sakari shouted. See a movie. Apachai yelled. A movie? What kind? Aki's inquired to the suggestion. A romance. Girls like romance. Naruto Shigur suggested. Hanging down from the rafters. Her mouse. Touchmu perching on Naruto's shoulders. Nah. Action. Real men like action movies. Kid. Sakari offered. When is the last time Awa went on a date? Sugar muttered. Why? They play the really good stuff after hours. Squeak. Hinai suggested, a pervy gleam in his eyes. Action. Romance. Play. Oppa. Ekinaruto's head was ready to explode until his great-uncle walked in with Mu Bahindim, wondering what in the hell all of the fuss was about. Why don't we settle this the usual way? Hayato told them as they got into stances. Hey whoa, don't fight outside my room. Nar yelled until Mu calmed him. Just watch. Nar she told him. An aura of power was permeating the very air around them as these masters of masters were ready to challenge each other over the right to make the suggestion for their disciples' first date. Each of them was dead set on victory. He had no idea what they were about to do, but he was sure that it would be awe-inspiring or obscenely destructive. Maybe. The victor was Clearbeth. In a flash of movement, it was all over. I won. Apache cheered as the rest of the masters scoffed. What the hell just happened? Nar dead, scissors. Mupend. It was the way they usually settle differences. Rock, paper explained. I didn't even see them move. He exclaimed. I did. Each of them were changing what they had within fractions of a, that's fast. Nar marveled as the second until they finished. Mew told him, while lumbering giant spoke up. Nar-chan should let Rachi-chan choose the movie. Apache suggested, making the others think for a moment. That's not a bad idea, Apache. Aki's finally spoke out, the others nodding in agreement. Well, it's decided now. I believe that we should get to your training, Naruto_, Aki said aloud, a sadistic GR informing. Well, crap, Nar muttered as he was dragged off to the yard for his daily beatdown. A few hours later, Naruto was busy trying to pry himself out of a crater Akisensei made with his body with a simple throw and listening to his lecture on how sloppy his last move was when he looked at a clock. It was time to pick up Sakura, Akis from her first dia again. At the academy and drop her off at home. Hey sensei, Naruto groaned. Yes, Naruto-kun, the mustachio asked. It's time to go pick up Sakura Aiken from school. I promised her mom that I would. He grunted out as he stood up. Oh well, since you made a promise, you should honor it, Aki said simply, hoisting the small blonde up and painfully resetting his bones back into their proper, but I don't think that your femur and your lower lumbar a replacement. I'm no doctor, Naruto-kun. Supposed to be touching. Run along now, the boy doing just that, except he limped at first until his Akis told him dismissively healing kicked in. Academy grounds. Does anyone have any questions? Uruka askides, Sakura. The class who all just clammed up until a certain Pinkett raised her hand. Why the school teacher asked, do we have homework, Uruka? Sensei, she asked, making, I nearly forgot, but yes, you do. I want you all to practice the class groan. Why sneaking and stealth, and we'll see how you all do tomorrow. That's all, Uruka. Sakura was left with a sense of informed them cheerfully as he bolted for the door fulfillment from her first day at school as she picked up her book bag and left the school for the day. As she made her way out to the schoolyard, she noticed a crowd of girls older than her gathering around someone. Being naturally curious, she decided to check it out. It's Sasaki-sama. One girl 3 years older than her, squealed. I hope you're on my team. Sasaki-sama. Another girl graduating this year yelled. Sakura got a good look at the person Thathy were gushing over and wasn't terribly impressed with him. What's so amazing about this guy? The young Pinkett asked the closest girl to her. What have you been living under a rock? He's only Uchiha Sasaki-sama, last year's Rookie of the Year and the last of the famous Uchiha clan. He's so cool. The girl gushed. So my ni-chan is way cooler than that guy. He made Chunin his first time up. Sakura commented, nah, Sasaki-sama is way cooler than any dork that your ni-chan is. Another girl responded with hostility. Which loser is you, ni-chan anyway? Amy, a girl who was supposed to have graduated with Nar and Sakura asked with no small amount of disdain. Narone is that's who. He's awesome. The little girl fired back, not liking how. Another group who overheard from these people were being so snidey with hair across the yard came to her aid. The Konohamaru Corps. The boss is your ni-chan. Man, I'm jealous. I idolize that guy. Surbi Konohamaru exclaimed. Boss, why call him that? Sakura asked quizzically. Because he's the boss. He taught me this really cool jutsu, too. Konohamaru gloated as he performed the infamous war no jutsu, changing into a buxom brunette, taking out every adult male within view and strangely enough, a couple of women. Cool. I want to learn that, little Sakura said with a little bit of a mixed in. Well, we can. Eat you if you want, Moi offered Kindlia, it's no problem. And you are the little sister of the, so we feel obligated to look out for you while you're here. Udon added his above-average vocabulary. Coming to the fore, yet another voice made itself known from outside of the throng of people. One Hyuga Hanab, this Nar you've been gabbing about, is he Uzumaki Nar, the same guy that ripped my cousin a new one? She, Hinata, asked curiously. Yeah, Sakura answered. Wow, he's engaged to my big sister or his little sister. Why? Then you're going to be my sister-in-law in a couple of years, so you can go ahead and call me Hanab Oneken if you want. The Hyuga girl declared with a grin on her face and her arms folded. No way. The boss is going to marry your one-chan. Cool. I hope he lets me be a groomsman. Konohamaru cheered. That would be groomsman Saru Dori. Hanab corrected. In the meantime, Sasaki froze as what the kid said registered in his head. He felt a near-instant flash of rage bursting from within his gut. Theobi, he is not better than me. I am the greatest shinobi to ever grace this stupid village. The last snarled Withridge. So he still made Chunin and you didn't. You can't be that great. Sakura, but he had a very firm grasp on her, retorted with a shrug as she tried to walk away. Shoulder. You'll pay for mocking me. He screamed as he cocked his fist back to hit her, only for a blur to snatch her from harm's way. Sakura was ready to take the hit until she noticed that someone was holding her in their arms. She looked up to see who it was and couldn't have been happier. Naruto Nin. She cheered as Hera big brother set her down and stepped in front of her. Boss, we're glad to see you. Konohamaru yelled. So since you can't get what you want, you'll beat up little kids. That slow crystal blue eyes narrowed with disgust for his former teammates' actions as many other parents watched on. I didn't know that worthless losers could have a family. Then again, she was dumb enough to mouth off to me. Sasha Hasa to be related to. Sasaki sneered. You, Dabi Sasaki, on my authority as a Chunin and your superior. I'm ordering you to leave here now. Nar ordered him, trying to use his new rank to deter him without a fight. Some of the more brazen Fandrels demanded that Nar leave, but the rest obeyed and backed off, as if all listened to Adobe like you. That rank should have been mine. The Fey Avenger yelled, spite and jealousy evident in his words. Not if you can't even. Besides, I beat you fair and square. Nar reminded him, hitting show up on time, ta sore spot. The last Uchiha's pride held in pain as he made another swipe. Fourth little girl, only for his fist to be caught in Naruto's vice-like grip. His level of physical strength hard-earned from his numerous torture training exercises. Sasaki tugged all of his might, but he couldn't remove it. Nar was too strong. What? How could the Dobi be so? Sasaki cried in pain as Naruto intensified his grip, forcing him to his knees. We can add attempted assault on a superior officer to that list. Uchiha. Another voice called out from the building. Iruka walked out of the main building and up to the two former teammates. Even the brazen fangirls were now backing away since Iruka was not the instructor to mess with. He quickly ordered the rest of the rubberneckers to leave immediately except for Sakura, who was the victim. What happened here, Uzuaki? He asked his now fellow Chunin to brief him on the situation, and brief he did. After that, Iruka's face melted away into a stony professional visage. As that's so, what could little Sakura-chan have possibly said to make you try to hit that little brat should have? Wait, defenseless child. Iruka pressed on him. So, Isakura. He began to sneer, but he paused when he put two and two together. That what happened to that skanky psychopath? I thought she'd been too quiet for a while. He sneered at the girl, making her cringe. Nar applied even more pressure that wiped the smug look off of his face. That was who she used to be. She was given another chance. Now she's my emo-chan and I don't want to hear you ever behaving. Sasaki like this toward her ever again. Am I clear? A genin. Nar growled. Whatever scoffed until a blast of ki hit him from another direction. They all looked to for the source to find none other than Kakashi. You never learn, do you, Sasaki? The copy nin said, his voice cold and professional. What do Awa want? Hideki Nar asked, his voice laden with suspicion. Kakashi couldn't really blame him for feeling that way after how he betrayed his former student. I had that coming. I have a lot coming. Ahi lamented before he spoke. I saw a disturbance and came to investigate. Kakashi told the two chunin as he focused on Sasaki again. Why were you disobeying a direct order from your superiors, Sasaki? Kakashi questioned, who's superior? It's only the dobi and this week's school teacher. Sasaki scoffed again until a hard backhand sent him to the dirt, shocking the two. Forget who you're talking to, a genin. Why chunin and little girl? You are talking to two chunin and a junin who are questioning you for attempted assault on an academy student. Maybe a suspension is too light of a punishment for you. Maybe you need some jail time to correct that attitude of yours some more. The copy nin tore into his now ex-student tent. Sasaki was shocked beyond words that Kakashi was talking to him like he was before. He was handing him jutsu and training like it was candy and completely snubbing his other two students for him. Now, so you're betraying me, Hideki? Sasaki snarled. No, I merely woke up and realized what I had done and had been allowing to happen. I won't let you drag my career and everything I've worked for down with you. I believe that Iruka-san can take Uchiha. I wash my hands of you here and now. Know you to the jail and book you there for your crimes. Kakashi stated with a tone often alati to his words. Right. Come along, Uchiha. Let's go, Iruka ordered gruffly as he hauled the Uchiha off to jail this time. Kakashi stood there for a moment and watched. Thank you for helping us. Him be taken away until Sakura tugged at his sleeve. Mr. The little girl thanked him politely. He took a real good look at her and his mind was pink hair piecing things together, emerald eyes. She can't be he thought in complete shock. Nar is she? He questioned as Nar nodded to the affirmative. So that's what happened to her. He murmured. Nar changing the subject. Kakashi, we need to talk. But after I dropped Sakura-chan off with her parents, Nar told him as the little, how on earth girl clambered onto his back and they both disappeared in a shunt. Nar, can I tell you that I'm so sorry? The copy nin said sadly, his already massive guilt increasing by the second as he waited for his ex-student to come back. Nari-appeared a few minutes later in a swirl of leaves and faced the copy nin who had been JSUT standing there without his infamous Ika out. He gave him a critical stare searching for any hint of deceit. The man looked terrible, like he hadn't slept at all. His uniform was rumpled and he slightly stunk like he hadn't taken a bath or, Kakashi broke the ice. So, I heard rumors about what washed his clothes. Finally happened to Sakura, but I didn't think they were true until I saw her in person. If you really cared about her or me, you would have commented awkwardly, known what happened to her and why it happened. What's with the change of heart anyway? Why did you go postal on your favorite instead of helping him? What do you have to gain from it? Nar grilled him, trying to find any sliver of deceit. Look, damn it. This is really hard for me to admit this. But I was wrong. I abandoned you and Sakura. I didn't even care if you two lived or died as long as I had Sasaki. I was an idiot. I nearly threw everything away. All that my sensei taught me. My friend's dying lesson to me and Ren's wish. My father's last lesson to me. I as good aspist all over them and my memories of them. I can't even look at myself in the mirror without feeling disgusted with myself and what I had done. I need to find some way to atone for all that I did. Please help me make things right. Please forgive me. The copycat begged and pleaded with him for some measure of forgiveness, a hint of salvation for his soul. Nar was wearing within himself over what to do, if he should forgive him or damn him. It was too heavy of a choice for him to make all of the sudden. He had to think about it. I can't give you an answer right now. Look, I need to go, he told Kakashi, headed back to the Ryu-san Paku compound and leaving the Naruto's date multiple locations Nar had to step on it since Hisokapi Nin in purgatory little incursion with Sasaki and his talk with Kakashi put him behind schedule, bathing and dressing at a record pace. He was out the door like a bat out of hell and headed right for the restaurant Rachi specified in her note. He spotted her waiting for him outside in a cute white dress with spaghetti straps and heeled shoes, her hair in its usual pigtails. He had just barely made it in time. Nar _ you were almost late. What happened? She asked. I'll tell you inside, Rachi-chan. Nar told her from the tone of voice he used. It had to have been serious. So she nodded and they went inside and got seated. Now, what's wrong, Naruto-kun? I can tell something's not right. The pink-haired martial artist asked with concern. It's just I had a run-in with the temp. Nar started things off as they placed their orders. Really? Earlier today what happened? She asked. I was picking up Sakura-chan from school when I saw the temp take up route at the academy gates. Sakura-chan called him out on something and he tried to slug her, but I managed to stop him in time. He was being a total bastard as usual and refused to listen. That was when Iruka came out. Ohand helped me with him. He still acted like an until Kakashi came. Nar told her. He didn't. Nar corrected. No, that means that jerk got off light. Rachi sighed. Actually her to her shock. What? Yeah, I was just as surprised as you are. When Sasuke mouthed off to him, too, he backhanded him and allowed Iruka to take him to jail for attempted assault and disobeying a direct order from a shinobi of higher rank. He'll be spending some time in a jail cell for a while and won't be bothering anyone. NTO explained. Well, that's good news then. Rachi chirped. Well, that part is. But what happened after that was pretty awkward. Nar told her as he explained what happened after Sasaki was taken away to jail this time. It's pretty useless to point Hershik at the Mian of the infamous copy ninjas begging and pleading for forgiveness. Why? Why now after all that he's done? Although, one thing still bothered her. I want to know, the pig-tailed Pinkett asked, completely bewildered. I can't really say what brought on this change of heart before I make a choice on what to do. Nar, Rash answered her as their food arrived. Well, let's eat and forget about this for no, suggested as they dug into their meals and continued on with their date. The date moved along at a steady pace as neither of them were in any particular rush. Nar was a bit awkward when she linked her arm with his, but he got used to it and it actually felt nice. He had a very attractive girl on his arm and was currently on their way to the theater to take in a movie. To Naruto's surprise, Rachi chose an action movie with the famous actress Fuji Kazuki, something they could both enjoy as a thank you for allowing her to pick the movie. During the whole movie, she refused to unlink her hand from his and even fell asleep on his shoulder. Nar chuckled lightly and chanced. Slipping his arm around Hiro his surprise, she snuggled into him and was snoozing, so peacefully he almost didn't want to wake her when the flick ended. Hey Rachi-chan, he said, lightly rousing Harem. Time to go, she asked, still in a daze from waking up. Yeah, come on, he said as he gently lifted her to her feet and escorted her out. By the time they reached the exit, she was fully awake and alert, feeling a bit playful as she gave him a kiss on the cheek when they left the theater. Walking down the street, however, was a certain blonde kunoichi that had just gotten done eating with her team and was now on her way home when she saw the pair come out. I can't believe Sasaki tried to hit Sakura. That jerk. It's a good thing Naruken and Iruka-sensei were there. Ashe thought until she saw the couple come out of the theater. She quickly hid behind a business sign and watched them. What the hell am I doing? Spying on them like this? She asked herself until she saw the kiss. It was like something broke inside of her when she saw it. She didn't know of the engagements, but she saw this as a missed chance, a slight tear falling down her face. That's no more than I deserve for all I did to him. I wouldn't deserve him anyway. She thought sadly as she made her way home to sleep off her impromptu. After a slow walk back to the Lee estate, they made it to their heartbreak. Finally destination as she turned to face her escort and future husband. Well, I really had a good time, Naruto. I hope we can do this again soon, she told him as she kissed him squarely on the lips, holding it for more than a minute. That was my first real kiss. Nar murmured. Real? What do you mean? She asked curiously. Nar groaned. Ash told her the tale of his ill-fated first kiss with Sasaki of all people. She promptly began to laugh her off but kissed him again a little longer this time. There, I hope Atada was a better one. She told him coyly. A stunned Nar simply nodded his head. Good night, Naruto, she told him as she slipped inside of the compound. The guard snickering is his flabbergasted reaction. Oi, kid, you all right? A guard chuckled as he shook the stricken blonde out of his stupor. Yeah, I'm fine. Nar. Y replied in a monotone voice, still in shock as he staggered his way back home. Konoha jail cell. Sasaki was currently sitting in his cell, awaiting trial for attempted assault and disobeying a direct order from his superiors and sulking about it. Even breaking free at one point, only Ichi resisted Iruka the entire way to the Huskow to be brought down by another former classmate and his sensei Shikamaru and Asuma, who had just gotten finished with a shogi game at a parlor and were getting a bite to eat when they stumbled across them. Flashback. Sasaki had just broken a street and bound for the loose from Iruka's grip and was currently pelting down Uchiha district, or under arrest. Iruka hollered after him as he tried to Uchiha, get back here. Why catch him? If I can ditch this loser, I can grab some gear and leave this village of fools behind me. I'm taking Orochimaru's offer, and after I kill Itachi, this village will burn for trying to keep me down. Ahei swore as he increased his running speed. His burst of speed was short-lived since he relied on chakra for nearly everything and never really did much in the way of physical conditioning. As a result of that, he was seriously out of shape and he was tiring quickly. Coming out of a shogi parlor down the street was Shikamaru and Asuma, fresh out of a game and ready to grab some food when Sasuke went pelting past them. Stop, Sasaki. He's getting away. Iruka called to them for help. Aw man, life just doesn't stop. Shikamaru wed as he and Asuma leaped after the fugitive Uchiha. They managed to get ahead of him using the rooftops, and Shikamaru predicted that he was headed for the Uchiha district. So they made plans to ambush him there. Sure enough, he headed right for his house and gathered every piece of ninja gear and weapons he could find into a travel pack. Right after he set foot outside of main clan house, Shikamaru sprung his trap in SNS, snaring him in his cage. Meanwhile Asuma got his arms around his throat and Iruka caught up, signaling the lazy Nar to release his jutsu. Let me go. This village is weak. Orochimaru will give me what I want. Sasaki snarled with contempt. I don't think so, Uchiha. You obviously did something stupid enough to warrant getting arrested, and now you're talking about treason. It's troublesome, but you're not going anywhere, Shikamaru told him in a bored voice. He was ready to turn around when he felt a foot connect with the side of his head. Sasaki had managed to lash out and kick Shikamaru in the face when his guard was down. Baruka responded by nailing him with a powerful punch to his stomach before Asuma tightened his grip around Sasaki's neck, cutting off his oxygen and causing him to pass out. The bearded Junin simply hefted the now rouge last Uchiha by the scruff of his shirt. Little idiot, throwing tantrums just because he was told no. Asuma growled, son of a that's going to leave a mark. Shikamaru hissed in pain. Ash checked for blood. Yeah, I'll be fine. Let's just do okay. Shikamaru. Iruka asked. Why get this guy behind bars? Shika replied as they set off. Their first stop was the Hoage's office. They needed to know what he would do about Sasake's attempted flight on top of his crimes. A few moments more saw them inside the Hoage's office as Jerry glared at the Uchiha's audacity to actually try and escape the village. The GMA sentenced the down traitor until he woke up. Wake up, Uchiha. Jiraiya ordered. Sasake's Weitais snapped open and he attempted to escape, but he was bound to a Cherovito. You want? Untie me right now, Sash demanded. Shut up, Nade thundered. He pissed me off for the last time. Uchiha, you've not only attempted to harm an academy student, but you also assaulted 2 of my Chunin, resisted arrest, and now you tried to defect. To Orochimaru of all people, you'll be lucky to catch another glimpse of sunlight as long as you live. Jiraiya snarled. You dogs, release me right now or I'll tell the council and have you all put to death. The traitor demanded smugly. However, the response he got was bone-chilling. You ignorant little _ you Hunsley are behind the time, brat. You see, I believe that the council will help you. You already taken the liberty of replacing many of the council's members. Many of them were on your father's payroll. Even after your clan's demise, they continued to suck up to you by giving you whatever you wanted, hoping that once you came of age to claim them, you would give them your continued support. We managed to weed out the bad seeds and replace them with more honest civilians and far more reputable. Your free ride is now at an end, Jiraiya told the once arrogant and smug clan heir, whose face drained of any colors. Can't do this to me. He stammered in disbelief. Yes, we can. You've crossed the line at treason and your last chance has been blown. Jiraiya ordered to his Anu, who simply grabbed the traitor chair and all and away. Jiraiya sank into his chair, flickered away, Sununade and Serbi by his side. The now ex-hag was kicking himself for not doing what Jiraiya had done at the beginning of his reign. Trust someone with an abstract way of thinking like Jiraiya had always done to come up with a simple solution to a complicated problem. He simply did as he explained. He got rid of the corrupt members of the council and replaced them with people he could more easily keep tabs on. This was much easier to do once he fired the obvious elders and began to chip away at Danza's power base in an attempt to bring him to heel. So far, it was working like a charm. Flashback end. Sasaki was now sitting in his jail cell trying to make sense of what just happened. But I'm an Uchiha, aren't I? Uchiha. Don't go to jail. He kept mumbling to himself as time clicked by outside of the village's borders. What remained of Orochimaru's sound for had just received word from their only remaining spy within the village that their target had just been arrested and was set for trial the following morning. We need Toget in there and bust him out now. Kidomaru said forcefully. Shut up, dumbass. They got their top guy's garden, that stupid little. If we go in now, they'll kill us before we even get a near Lord Orochimaru's new sheath. Tuya countered, she's right. None of us are good enough at stealth to get the job done. We need to contact Kabuto and get his help. Maybe Kamaro's, too, Sakin mused, being the Deacto leader at the moment. Noted that a guy 4 eyes is so creepy on so many levels. And who's to say that he'll even help us? Kid whined. Hey, this coming from a guy with a 6 of arms. The feisty redhead taunted. Shut your pie hole. The spider-like man retorted. Will the both of you grow up? Carpet muncher, we need to get started on a plan now or we get to be Lord Orochimaru's next experiments, Sakin told them as they all disa. Konoha Council Chanmers. It was mid-morning just after breakfast time when the clan heads and civilian councilors all began to arrive in the chambers convening for the tribunal of one Sasaki Uchiha. The clan leaders were not very happy about Sasaki breaking the restrictions of his suspension and attempting to strike a small girl in the academy. But then he attempted to escape from the arresting Chunin, attacked 3 Chunin and a Junin, attempted to defect. And he fully admitted to it. This was treason, plain and simple. Finally, after 20 minutes of people filing in, Jiraiya himself along with his 2 counselors and Serbi arrived with the victim and witnesses in tow. Shikamaru and Asuma were asked to testify, which they accepted easily along with Iruka and Nar. Sakura was brought along by her mother, but the most surprising of the people who had volunteered to testify was none other than Kakashi. Jiraiya didn't know what he was getting at, but would wait and see what he would do as he called the gathering to order. I called this military court-martial to order. Bring in the prisoner, he ordered. To the Anbu, who opened a door, and 2 more Anbu came out holding Sasake's chains like he was a rabid dog. Uchiha Sasaki, you stand accused of not only attempted assault on an academy student, but also disrespecting your superior officers, attempting to escape from custody, striking a ninja of superior rank, and attempted treason. Have you anything to say before we start? The Toad Sage asked, his gaze hard as iron. Everything was just fine until that Dabi got better than me. This is all his fault. Sasaki ranted until one of the guards struck him across the face to silence him. Your conduct hardly does you justice, Uchiha-san. He had nothing to do with your fall into disgrace. Hayashi stated with thinly veiled disgust. Do not think that your name will grant you any leniency here, for it will not. Aburame Shibi added, how dare you strike Sama? He has done nothing wrong here. A fat merchant and counselor, Miyamura Kisho, bellowed. That is quite enough, Jiraiya. I demand that you cease this farce at once, Homer demanded, but the room was flooded with he as the Civilane Council was called. You are only here as a formality. You no longer hold any sway in ninja matters. This is a full military tribunal, and it is not open for debate. One more outburst will see you visiting Ibiki. Jiraiya threatened. Now, if that is all you have to screech, we will begin. Jiraiya said as he called Sakura forward. Shiaki and Nar had a hard time calming her down after that outburst of ki. So Jiraiya went down there himself to help calm her since he scared the poor girl so badly. Shish. It's okay. I wasn't angry with you. Now, can you tell me what happened to you when he tried to attack you? He asked of her. Sakura seemed to calm down after this and told everyone the events that had occurred in great detail, drawing a few chuckles from her conversation with Hanab Konohamaru and his friends, who seemed to take her under their wing. What set Sasaki off was when they began to talk about Nar with an earshot, and lost all reason in his rage. Sakura would have been hit hard enough to give her a concussion if Nar hadn't rescued her. I can concur with her story on that account. My granddaughter was there and saw the whole thing as well. It turns out that she befriended the girl and she and Konohamaru have taken a shine to her. Koharu stated. That's preposterous. How can we take this seriously? I demand that her testimony be stricken from the record. Kisho bellowed. Denied. She is the victim of the attempted assault, so her testimony is both valid and vital. Yamanaka now countered, shooting down their objection. All right, we have her testimony. Now we move on to the testimony of Archunin and Junin. Serbi called out, moving the trial along. Naruto stepped forward first to deliver his statement, followed by Iruka, Shikamaru, and Asuma who pursued and captured him. The final statement and nail in the coffin was delivered by Kakashi himself. Kakashi, before you speak, we would all like to hear about your change of heart. What caused you to change your mind like this? Asked skeptically. I had a nightmare. Sensei, Kusha, my teammates and my father. They were so angry with me. I am nothing but a disgrace to them for how I treated my team, especially Naruto-san. This was brought on when I looked in on Sasaki to see how he was doing, and he was looking into Naruto's secret. Kakashi explained, looking around. Nar picked up on it in a heartbeat and spoke out. Sakura-chan already knows, and I trust Shikamaru to not freak out, so spit it out. Nar half snapped at him to continue. Ahem. Sasaki was studying on how to either become a Ginuriki or how to control a power like Naruto-san. I feel that he is going insane. Taking him out of the equation will be an act of mercy for both us and for him. Kakashi stated honestly. I see. The Shinobi Council and elders will now collaborate and render a verdict, Jiraiya announced as they all huddled together. So, what do you guys think? Is he redeemable in your eyes? Jiraiya asked them to be perfectly frank, and in Kusha-san's words, hell no, he's been given everything his heart desired. But it still wasn't enough for that spoiled brat. And now he dares to attempt treason, and with Orochimaru on top of that. He needs to be made an example of, Hiashi stated, the others nodding grimly in agreement. You guys agree too? He asked, and Sarubi. It pains me that one so young has threatened treason, but what's done is done. We cannot allow Orochimaru to get his hands on the Sharingan. Sarubi said, that little bastard is just as bad as the rest of his clan. He needs to go before something awful happens. Agreed. The verdict was in. Uchiha Sasake's fate had been sealed. We have reached a verdict. We find Uchiha Sasaki guilty on all counts and will be given the maximum penalty of death for his crime of treason and admission of conspiring with the worst criminal Konoha has ever known. Inoichi declared, drawing looks of disbelief from the civilian side over the situation, over the decision. Right. His execution will be held publicly in 2 days' time. Jiraiya confirmed, his glare curtailing any argument that might have come forth. He gave the Anbu a hand signal to take the Uchiha away. You can't kill me. I am an Uchiha. No one can kill me. He was heard ranting all the way down the hall before a heavy thud silenced him. They were all ready to go home, but a few questions needed to be asked. Kakashi, since when did you care about doing the right thing? I thought that you were attached to the Uchiha Lipu, commented, catching the attention of the fleeing civilian council. Yes, we would like to know this as well, Haki. Danzo added, his one good eye narrowed in suspicion. He was sure that he had Kakashi under his thumb and blindly following what they told him. He was very interested knowing what made him change his mind. I've had some time to think about what I've been doing wrong. What happened to Sakura? Nar making Chunin without me or the team. And Sasuke literally losing his mind and demanding to be made into a Jinchuriki. Kakashi rattled off. He what? Homer exclaimed, you heard me. He wanted to be made into a Jinchuriki. I told him that even if he survived the process, which was next to impossible, the charcoal would poison him since Naruto has a near immunity to it. From the Kyuubi being within him since birth, and it would still be useless if Jiraiya Sama hadn't helped him control it. After all of that, I wanted no part of any of his madness. Kakashi finished. His explanation well explained pretty much everything else. However, certain individuals on the civilian council thought they had found something to use against Jiraiya and was audacious enough to call him out on it. You showed the demon brat favoritism. Jiraiya Gensha Higi, a prominent landowner and real estate investor, bellowed in an accusatory tone. That was a very stupid thing to do since an Anbu knocked him out and dragged him from the room while the others looked outraged. Even though everyone present possessed knowledge of Naruto's special status, it was unwise to call me out like that without knowing the full situation. I trained him before the Chunin exams. And at that time, becoming the Hokage wasn't even a thought on my mind. I know what this job entails better than anyone in this room other than Sensei himself. And it pains me that I cannot train my godson any further. I still have many things to teach him from his father, my student. I know that if Kusha were still with us, half of this council would have been dead long ago. Jiraiya glowered at the council while the shinobi pieced things together. It was time that they all knew the truth. Nar was plenty strong and he would only become even more powerful with time. I was grudge against the Yandami had died with him as he had personally found out from one of old man such himself just this morning. Old Oni as it had turned out knew about Naruto being the son of his hated enemy from the get-go but chose to let the grudge die. He just wanted to see Konoha sweat over it for a good laugh, but he highly disapproved of the council's methods in handling a Jinchuriki. Also, as it had turned out, his own granddaughter Kuratsuchi had seen an intelligence report on him which included a picture and was somewhat smitten. When word got out that Nar was a shinobi and how he fared against Ka despite his massive handicap, he was toying with the idea of arranging a marriage with his granddaughter. To Nar, he had just gotten the missive that morning. With all of this, it was time for him to be recognized as the son of the Yandaime Hokage. No way. He's the Yandaime's kid. I feel like such a colossal idiot for not spotting the resemblance sooner. Asuma smacked himself in the forehead while Shikamaru went slack-jawed. The civilian council members that didn't know were stunned into silence. Kakashi hit the deck hard, out cold from the sensory overload to his already frayed nerves. Iruka had a gut feeling as to whose kid he was. That kind of pranking genius could only have come from Kusha. No wonder Sensei was so angry with me. I treated his son like he was worthless. He's going to kill me again after I die, were Kakashi's last thoughts before entering blissful unconsciousness. Hayashi and the rest on the shinobi council who knew merely smirked when the truth came out. They felt that it was about damn time the kid's true heritage came out into the open. Once the main populace found out that they were abusing the only child of their greatest hero, they had no doubt that many would be getting ship drunk tonight and maybe a few suicides. The bottom line was that since the former elders knew the truth, but did it anyway, they would lose their popular support within the village and have no leg to stand on any longer. Even Danzo wouldn't escape unscathed like he usually did. Wow, Enshin, your daddy was the Yandi. He was my uncle, Sakura asked him in childish wonder. However, that innocent question was caught by the former elders. Now, during all of this, Danzo had been suspiciously quiet, but chose this moment to speak. I guess that blood sample from the hospital wasn't a lie. Kusha Uzumaki wasn't the last Uzumaki. She had a sister that also survived and now a niece. He said, "What makes you say that?" asked tightly. Danzo wasn't completely correct, and there was no need to tip their hand yet, but he was too close to the truth for comfort. Come now, that little girl looks like her, and come to mention it, so does her mother. Danzo replied, pulling out a DNA readout and handed it to the civilian council members, whose grins were starting to turn predatory. Yes, I am curious about this. Now, too, Homura chimed in. I quite agree. If this information is indeed accurate, I propose that Haruno Chiaki and her daughter be used to boost the numbers of the Uzumaki clan. We will screen candidates for use and they will be married off. Young. Sakura will be expected to have her first child after she hits puberty and Chiaki. Haruno will be paired with a shinobi of our choosing. Danzo stated callously. Wait just a minute. I am married. Thank you. On top of that, I want nothing to do with your sick plans and leave my daughter out of this. Chiaki snarled, throwing what ki could still muster at them while she grabbed Sakura and got behind Narin. The other shinobi. Wait just a go-damned minute here. If you so much as look at them wrong, I'll kill you. All. Nar snarled loudly, his ki becoming suffocating but aimed. Did you hear that? He threatened to kill us all. Kisho yelled until Sununade was in his face in a heartbeat. Good, because whoever he doesn't kill, I will. By extension, they are also of the Senju clan and therefore fall under my protection. If I even hear a rumor of you guys trying something, I'll be the one to kill you. She threatened, her powerful grip snapping off a chunk of the fat merchant's chair like a rice cracker. Jiraiya, stop this madness. We only seek to increase our strength. You've already deprived us of the last. Homier shrieked. No, I will not allow this to happen. Chiaki is already married and Sakura is far too young for that. Not to mention the acting Uzumaki clan head, Nar had denied you. Besides, Nar is an Uzumaki and he is already making use of the CRA. I believe Hyuga Hanatada is one of the 3 brides he had currently with at least 2 more slots open. The other 2 girls are from powerful martial arts families and he is the nephew of Furenji Hyodo by blood. Jera explained, making Kaharu think of a way to put a positive spin on it. As that's so, then there is nothing to worry about since Naruto-san has already shouldered the CRA for his clan. If anything, he will help to spread these powerful bloodlines further. And, given his performance during the exams, his children will likely be even stronger than him, she reasoned, making the family sigh with relief. Homea and Danzo looked scandalized. Do you know what you are saying? Homea exclaimed, of course I do. The combined Namikaze, Furini, and Uzumaki bloodlines within the boy, coupled with the demon he houses, those children will be powerhouses the likes of which we may never see again. Although, I am kicking myself for agreeing that he should be suppressed. If we had nurtured his latent talents instead of trying to quell it, think of what he might have been by now. The old bat reasoned yet again. Jiraiya, Sarutobi, and Tsunade were shocked that the old battle axe was taking Naruto's side all of the sudden. That settles that Chiaki and Sakura Haruno are not to be bothered by these matters any further. Since this was the final issue, I would like to conclude this meeting. Jiraiya stated as the civilian council staggered out in a daze. The shinobi walking out feeling vindicated, but he called for Kaharu to stay behind to talk with himself, Sununade, and Serbi. Now, what was that about back there? You hated that kid since he was born, but now you side with him. I'm going to need a damn good explanation for this, Tsunade demanded. I simply agreed that Naruto-san had done the right thing, without needing to be prodded. I also regret that I had a hand in repressing his growth. I have no doubts that if he were treated fairly, he would be far more powerful than he is now if his near supernatural growth during the training month for the Chunin exams was any indicator. Also, I have no intention of tearing a married woman from her husband or a young child from her loving parents and her very protective cousin. This is a boon to the village, more so than the Uchiha, Kaharu explained carefully. The 3 rolled this information over carefully, looking for any deceit, but finding none. For now, they decided to let her alone for now, but would err on the side of caution when dealing with her. Out in the hall, The rest of the shinobi had gathered to converse on what had happened inside and on the new information they just learned. Man, Nar, you just get more troublesome by the second. Now you're the son of the freaking Yandi. Shikamaru griped. I have to say that it was a real shock, but then again, it wasn't. I mean, the answer was right in front of us the whole time and we still didn't see it. Asuma added, mentally smacking himself from not noticing sooner. Me too. I mean, I had a crush on your mom. Uruka said in disbelief. Uruka. Too much information, man. Nar groaned at the statement from his former sensei and now fellow Chunin. Seriously, that was ATAD creepy. Shikamaru agreed as little Sakura and her mother walked up. Naroke _ Thank you for protecting my daughter and myself in there. Shiaki thanked him. You're my family. I'll do anything for my family. Nar replied as Sakura hugged his waist, he himself smoothing her hair down. That bad person won't try to hurt us again? She asked. She knew what the punishment meant, but her young mind still needed that reassurance that he wouldn't try to hurt her again. No, he won't. Sakura-chan, he won't hurt you or anyone else ever again. Nar reassured her. He felt that this was for the best. Sasaki had become more like a rabid animal that needed to be put down. For everyone's sake, he was willing to jeopardize everyone's safety and well-being for his own selfish desires. That included his newly discovered family and his friends. Yes, this is for the best, he told himself. Team 7 was finished after the prelims were over, and it was clear that nothing would ever be the same again. This past month had been a whirlwind for him. So many things had changed in such a short span of time. Many of them wonderful, like learning of his true family, regaining a friend once thought to be lost to him forever, becoming a Chunin, and gaining his future brides. He looked over at his friends and family, then to the sky. My life, it's changed so much. But the things that I have gained and earned, I will never let them go. Nor will I forget that it was my precious people that helped me get as far as I have. I will keep training, getting stronger for their sake. With that strength, I'll protect my fiancés and family from anything that threatens them. I'll make them all proud. Become a great Hokage, just like the ones before me and my dad. That is a promise of a lifetime. Nar swore as he prepared to walk out of the hall with all of them, but a voice called him back. Narunade called out to him, making him turn around. Yeah, he replied. We need to talk to you about something. It's really important, Sununade told him. Her expression conveying as such. He knew her well enough to know when she was serious. So he turned to the rest. Sakura-chan and Chiaki, I need to go. I'll try to visit later. He told them, okay, bye. Enshin. Sakura pouted, but was perked back up slightly as she hugged her tightly. He then walked in after his godmother to hear what was going on. Once he was inside, the doors closed behind him, a silence seal activating to prevent eavesdroppers from listening in. As it turned out, the Shinobi Council was still there, waiting expectantly for the news Jiraiya had to offer. He moved over to a file folder that contained a single message bearing the seal of the such dated yesterday morning. This was delivered to my office yesterday morning from Iowa. That old god Noki knows about Naren. About who he really is. He told them, making them gasp. Nar tensed up too. He was always told that the Yandami, his father, was their mortal and hated enemy. If they knew about him, they might try to hurt his family. If he knows, then he will more than likely want revenge. Hayashi surmised. Yeah, that's what I thought, too. It turns out that he's known about him for several years, but chose to do nothing. He let the Grudge die out when Minato died, saying in his letter that it was a waste of energy and time to hold a grudge against a dead man, and that he hoped that the younger generation wouldn't pick up on it. That's why we haven't heard much out of Iowa Forsyth a long time, Jiraiya explained. Suobi's jaw dropped. He could imagine that old goat laughing his head off and at his expense. His face burned with embarrassment and indignation. Was equally shocked. She thought that she would be seeing Iowa assassins inside of a few days, but this was a literal bombshell. The rest of the council shared looks of surprise. It was like seeing the Kobe pop out of a cake and saying that the attack was just his version of a practical joke. I'm not even finished yet. You see, that old fart has a granddaughter, Naruto's age, and she's seen his profile and a recent picture from a few days ago. He's toying with the idea of a political marriage to establish ties to our village in an attempt to jumpstart trade in the stagnant economy in his village, since she's kind of taken with the Gaki. Jiraiya informed them, teasing his godson slightly at the end. The clan heads were giving this some serious thought while Naruto's nervous system nearly fried out. Dewa, how? He sputtered out, as he did his best impersonation of a fish out of water. Gaha. The Gaki is speechless. I hear that she's a real looker, too. You've got the goddess of good fortune looking out for you, kiddo. Now you've got 4 brides to please on your wedding night. So, I hope you've got stamina. Some. Inuka laughed. Couple of others chuckling along. Naruto, I've already accepted on your behalf, and he's sending her here in the next few days to meet you. Jiraiya informed his godson, showing him a picture of the young Iwa Kunoichi in question. He had to admit that she was a looker. She had short bobbed ebony hair and golden-colored eyes, along with a face that reminded him of that crazy proctor lady from the second exam. Shishel looked both pretty but scary. However, those thoughts were the furthest things from his mind at the moment, as he let out one of the intelligent responses he was famous for. What are you, insane? He yelled, some of the old Nar coming out. You heard me, Gaki. You're getting every red-blooded male's wet dream. I could get research capital from you alone. Gay ha ha. The Arrow Hokage cackled with mad glee. Jiraiya, what have I told you about using our godson for your research? Growled, in disapproval. To not to, he answered meekly. You won't, will you? She asked him to, which he shook his head no, so fast they thought he got whiplash. Good boy, she replied, patting his head while she turned to Nar. I know this will be tough to deal with, but please give this a chance. She already likes you from what we've heard. What we need to do now is explain the situation to the girls. Hopefully, they will understand. If not, I'm sure we can find another shinobi of good standing in your age group. You don't have to do this if it comes down to that, Nar. I'm sure the Tsuchi Kage will understand. She soothed her fretting godson. If you say so, Oba-san. Nar replied, not sounding too relieved. The 3 brides-to-be were beyond wonderful and, honestly, more than he believed he deserved, and he loved them dearly. But they expected more. He just didn't feel right about it. Nar, what's wrong? You can tell me, she told him gently as she slipped an arm around him. If there was one thing she knew about her godson, it was how to get him to open up to her. He needed a motherly presence in his life, and he seemed to accept her as such. It's just, what about the others? I mean, I already have more than I really deserve, and I didn't think it's really fair to the girls to introduce another girl into this. Nar explained. Tsunade understood what his problem was immediately after he said that he's loyal to them to a fault, and that proves that he's no pervert. You're really 1 in a million, brat. I understand, Naren, and I commend you on your steadfast loyalty to my daughter. Many young men would have jumped at the chance to add another woman to their betrothal, but you resisted. I will talk with Hinata about this as well as Keniono and Tenmanano and get their thoughts on this matter. They will talk with their daughters. And we can work from there. How does that sound? Hai offered, further calming the fretting Chunin down. I'll talk with them too, Nar. I'm your godmother, so it's pretty much a given that I want to look out for you. Added, nudging Jiraiya. What? He asked. Well, you forced him into this by accepting without telling him. So, you need to help him smooth things over. Chided. Oh, yeah, yeah, sure, I'll lend a hand. He agreed, mainly after seeing the vain Onsade's neck enlarge seemingly on its own volition. He thought about it for a moment and relented. It would at least give his girls a chance to voice their opinions on the subject and give him a chance to talk with Hayato, Jeswan and Shigur One-chan and the other sensei about it. At least Obasan is willing to compromise on it. The young blonde sighed to himself as he exited the hull and proceeded to head back to Ryu Zanpaku, hoping that their training ass-kicking sessions would help him focus on the problem he now faced. Wait a minute. Nar halted his walk out the door and spun around quickly. Oi Gigi, Hufu, didn't you two say that you had to hide who I was to prevent Iwa from coming to kill me? Nar asked a sharp untertone in his voice. Well, yeah, that's what we thought. Jiraiya answered. Damn that old goat. Nar snarled in anger. What's wrong? Was about to ask, until she got what he meant. If that old goat had just came out with it in the first place, we could have announced his birthright much sooner and spared him so much trouble and heartache. She surmised sadly. What's the problem? Narutkin Eninoy asked. Yeah, what's Eden? Yeah, kid, some added. If he had just told Gigi in the first place, then he could have told me who my parents were years ago. I just wanted to know their names. I didn't care what they meant to anybody about who or what they were. I just wanted to know. Damn it, Nar yelled, his anger starting to boil. You know, he is correct on that account. Hai agreed. Do you think he knew how Naruto was being treated up until now? Showa asked. There's no way of telling until we talk with him in person. He will be arriving with his granddaughter soon. Sometime tomorrow, we can ask him then. Serbi answered. Good. I want to know what kind of sick joke he was playing at. Nar snarled. Naru-chan, please calm down. You know, if he hadn't done that, you might not have had some of the things you have now. Like Sakura-chan, your aunt and the girls, soothed him. He almost immediately calmed down. You're right. I might have turned out like the temp. I'm sorry, Oba-san for yelling like that. Nar apologized, ashamed of himself. It's okay, kiddo. You had a good reason to be upset. That info coming out would have saved you from a lot of hardships, but that's all in the past now, and you're stronger for it, soothed him. Man, what else could happen today? He asked himself as if to tempt fate outside of the village. So, Sasuke got himself into trouble, and will be executed tomorrow. Did I hear you correctly? Kabuto asked the three elite shinobi of Orochimaru's personal guard as he pinched the bridge of his nose in an attempt to ward off a migraine. They had called for reinforcements to pull off the mission, so he brought along Kamaro and Karen, another medic, and a contingent of Sound Jun who were waiting near the border. She was brought to keep Kimaru's Disas under control and to help improve Sasake's curse mark. During the time they were there, she stuck close to Tuya, one of her only friends since Chin died during the exams. Yeah, he tried to smack this one kid who mouthed off to him, but his ex Teammate took him down. More people showed up and took him away. While they were transporting him, he blabbed about defecting and tried to escape, but they stopped him cold and imprisoned him. Now they decided to execute him for treason. He's being imprisoned in the high-security wing of the Ambu prison as we speak. Sakin informed the Snake Son's right-hand man. That little fool, Kabuto growled in displeasure. That little Uchiha _ more trouble than he's worth. I say we leave him. For the _ crows. Tuya groused. No, Lord Orochimaru will have his new body. We will go in and take him back tonight. Kimaru told them, the tone of voice he used, leaving no room for arguments. Yeah, but Kid Hidemaru tried to reason but was held at knife point. We will carry out Lord Orochimaru's will. Do not forget who your master is. He threatened them. Yeah, how could we _ forget with that damned Hiki honest like collars? Tuya growled. She wasn't recruited like they were. She was forced into his service after her mother was killed, a refugee from a now defunct country called Uzuio. She was shown to have a talent with genjutsu and large chakra reserves, so he branded her. To her, the seal is nothing but a slave collar, but it was people like Kabuto and Kimaru, the either fanatically loyal or really slimy types, that made sure she served her function. Like now, hey, at least fat ass got released from his seal. I hope he's doing better where he is. The foul-mouthed redhead thought as she was jarred from her thoughts. We moved tonight, Lord Orochimaru's insider has made special arrangements for us and has given us an added target. This girl, Kabuto, informed them, showing them a picture of a young pink-haired girl, no more than 6 at the most. Who's the brat? Kidomaru asked. Her name is Haruno, Sakura and Uzumaki. Lord Orochimaru would be most pleased to experiment on her. And possibly breed more. Kabuto answered, his grin something vile. Tuya's eyes flew wide at the mention of the name Uzumaki. Holy _ me and Karen. We ain't the last, she thought. Some time ago, she discovered that Karen was a blood relative of hers. And they kept that information a secret. Who knew what they would do if they found out? We will need to be careful though. She is being guarded, her cousin. He is none other than the Kobe Ginuriki Uzumaki Naruto. He is a recently promoted Chunin and he fought and defeated not only Sasuke-kun and the Hyuga genius but also Sunyuna's Ginuriki at his full strength all within an hour's time. Kabuto warned them he got all of this information from a disenfranchised member of the old council. A certain Warhawk Nar had proven himself to be quite a threat. Although he isn't the only danger within those walls. Ryu Zanpaku. Some of the only people Lord Orochimaru fears are there. Kabuto thought but withheld the information. Again, the redhead went rigged with alarm. Oh my god, that blonde run really is an Uzumaki. I just thought it was a coincidence. I can't do this. To Yuya warred within herself. She knew that she had to follow her orders or she would suffer a fate worse than death. But she now knew they weren't the last. There were others left besides them. That sick told me they were all dead. Now he wants one to experiment on and carve up like a turkey. There's no way in hell I'm letting that happen. Karen swore within herself as she tried to come up with a plan. They were running out of time. The two then made an unspoken choice. During the mission, they defect if possible. If not, they at least make sure that little girl doesn't fall into Orochimaru's hands. Come, we will wait until dark and for when the signal will be given. Kabuto ordered as they followed him. Later that night, nighttime fell quickly on the village as they awaited the signal to attack. Deep in the jail cells, a rude Ambu cleaned the blood off of his blade, casting his blank stare down at the two Junin who were guarding Sasaki. He then opened the doors and freed him, removing the restraints and seals that he could. He then set off a decoy explosion on the opposite side of the village as a distraction and as the signal he was ordered to give. Kabuto had to Yuya, Karen, and Kidomaru retrieve Sasaki while Kimaru, Sakin, and himself went to achieve their secondary objective, pelting over to the Haruno household. Kabuto and his team were able to move in relatively easy due to the chaos the distraction caused and kicked in the door to the house. "Who are you? What do you want?" Takado demanded of the intruders trying to defend his family. He got a bony knife in his shoulder for his troubles from Kimaru while Chiaki stood in front of her daughter. "Who we are is irrelevant. What we want is the girl. Lord Orochimaru has plans for her and we have come to get her," the Kaya said in a hollow tone. "There is no need for pointless bloodshed. All we want is the girl." Kabuto smirked, his voice laced with false compassion. "Over my dead body," Chiaki snarled as she turned to her daughter and shoved her into a closet. "Sakura-chan, don't come out," she ordered as she tried to at least make enough of a commotion to attract other ninja. She vaulted at them with surprising speed as she corked a mid-level water jutsu, nailing Sakin and sending him out into the street where she quickly ran out and fired off as big of a fireball as she could, hoping someone saw it until she received a blow to the back of her head as Kimaru moved in to finish her off, but Kabuto stopped him. "Forget her and that weakling inside. Grab the brat and let's get out of here before we have to fight the whole village," Kabuto ordered. He relented, and did as he was told. Afterwards, they ran off into the night just as Naruto arrived on the scene with Iruka, Kasara, and Tada. Upon finding Chiaki down, he flew over to her side as Kasara and Iruka performed some emergency first aid. "Who did this? Where's your husband and Sakura-chan?" Nar asked frantically. "Takado inside. They took Sakura-chan's." The woman managed to grade out. "WH?" Nar asked again. Sound white hair was all she could say before she passed out again. "We need to get them to the hospital now," Kasara stated as Tada rushed into the house and carried out Tikado. Iruka shouting Chiaki. Nar nodded reluctantly as they sped off to the hospital. Konoha Hospital. They made it to the hospital within a few moments and rushed the wounded Harunos into Scree. Takado's wound turned out to be light, and Chiaki had a minor concussion. She was damn lucky they didn't kill them both. As she finished working on them, Jiraiya Serbi joining them with grave looks on their faces. "The Uchiha has escaped. It looks like he was busted out by someone. And I bet it was Orochimaru," Jiraiya growled out. Chiaki Obasan said something about sound and white hair. "That snake kidnapped Sakura-chan too," Nar exclaimed as he tried to rush out of the door to follow them. "Hold it, run. We need to put together a team to go after them," Jiraiya ordered. Nar halted in his tracks and turned on his angrily. "Those bastards are getting away," he replied. "You won't get very far, and even if you do manage to find them, you can't do it alone." Those white-haired shinobi Chiaki mentioned had to have been Yukushi Kabuto and Kaya Kimamaru, two of that snake's top ninja, and he no doubt has more waiting. "Well, put together a team to get her back and put the Uchiha down for good. I want to be on the team that goes," Nar insisted. "That's one slot filled. Now for the rest," Jiraiya thought as they went over the potential candidates somewhere else. "So the Uchiha prodigy has defected from Konoha?" a voice asked. "Yes, through what we could gather from our intelligence network. Sasaki was arrested for assaulting his superiors, a small girl, and caught when he tried to defect. He was going to get the death sentence, but Orochimaru had his followers break him out of prison and are now en route to him. We can only ascertain that he intends to take the Uchiha's body as his own. Another voice added, I sense that is not all. What is that foolish group my father started up to these days? The man asked, bored. No, it is not, my lord. 1. Fist. It seems as though they have taken on an apprentice. All of them. The spy replied, I thought that after killing their first one, that Shirohama Kenichi brat, they would learn. Loki, who is this new brat? The One Fist demanded. The apprentice is a young boy from Konoha and one of their ninja, Wanuzumaki Nar, 13 years old, and he recently earned a promotion to Chunin. He was the dead last of his academy class, but it is highly likely that his grades and education were sabotaged. Yet during the Chunin exam finals, he not only defeated the Hyuga prodigy, Hyuga Neji, but also Uchiha Sasaki himself and Gar, the Suna Ginuriki, without resorting to using his demon chakra. However, any information beyond this and his basic statistics is beyond my means. It seems as though his records were destroyed or non-existent. Loki replied, what? Why would they do that to a genin of that quality? One Fist inquired. It seemed like a horrible waste of talent, but it spoke highly of his potential. If he came this far on determination alone, that is a mystery to me as well, sir. However, there are signs that point to the boy being a Jinchuriki. Loki reported. This piece of information greatly intrigued the other fists. Really? How so? Agard Jamsai, the Muay master of Yami asked. Loki cleared his throat to continue. According to what my spies within Orochimaru's camp had reported, the boy was able to tap into a different power and hold Orochimaru himself at bay, killing off one of his larger summons single-handedly and stopping another cold with brute force. Then there is his unnatural stamina and seemingly endless reserves of chakra. Lastly, according to the records from over 12 years ago, Loki added, with another master cutting him off. The Kalobi incident. We know this already, Loki. A woman drawled out. She was Kushinid Mikumo, the bewitching fist. According to my spies within Konoha's walls, the boy has been spit upon since his birth. The very night of the Kalobi incident, Loki supplied. But it was widely known that the Yandai Hokage killed the beast and himself in the process. A massive hulking man, with a mask. Diego Carlo the Steel Laughing Fist said in disbelief. But the boy is of the right age. Hongo Akira the Godfist replied. The boy must have gone through a very harsh life. But to have thrived as he has, his fighting spirit must be very strong. Sel Raman the Fists of Brahman stated cacacaca. The boy has a real demon in him. Silcardo Genuzad, the demon fist god, surmised and cackled. To the rest, understanding dawned on them as it was no mystery as to how Jinchuriki are created. The boy is the holder of the Kyobi, and he can control a portion of its power. On top of being so young, he would be a boon to our cause once his power matured. Had he not been contaminated with my father's ideals. He is now a critical threat that must be dealt with, but we must first gauge his strength. Send out the apprentices to test the Uzumaki. Cairo and Boris should be enough. Cairo to fight him and Boris to bear witness. I wish to test how strong the disciple of my father is. The One Fist decided. He turned to a group of shadows. Agard, Alexander, inform your disciples of their targets. They need to head out to the fire rice border and await their target. He ordered. Got it. He's been telling me he's been bored lately. Agard complied. It will be done. Leader in Russian Cyrillic. Alexander answered. What about the Uchiha Lord Saiga? Loki asked. Quote. ... He is of no interest to me. If he interferes, Tyrant and Boris may dispose of him. The now named One Fist answered. Agard Jamsai and Tirotkin hail from the same island nation as Apachai as well as his form of martial arts. While Apachai knew Mu Tai and taught it to Nar, there was another aspect to it that Apachai hid from him, and for a good reason. While Mu Tai is lethal enough by itself, its ancestor Mui Boran is far more effective, which is what Agard and his disciples specialize in. 1. Especially lethal technique is called the Yan Arawan, which can kill someone with ease, courtesy of a very powerful knee thrust to the heart and inducing deadly heart trauma capped off with an elbow to the crown of the head. Alexander G. Dar and his disciple Boris Ivanov both hail from another continent far to the west, which holds the country of Russia. There they have a special division of their army which is highly trained, fanatically loyal and lethal to a near inhuman degree, and could give the shinobi a hard time, called the Spetsnazes. They even developed their own combat style which centered around grappling. The key was to induce as much pain as possible with various joint targeting locks and holds with throws and striking. Mixed it to even it out. It is called command _ among the elite. Alexander and his protege stand out amongst them as the elite of the elite. The two masters informed their students of their tasks, who took to it with seeming indifference. Boris was simply following his commander orders, and while Pierrot seemed indifferent due to the fact that his target is younger than him by at least 4 years, he was wanting to test himself against a Genshiriki. He had heard no end of stories of their power. He had also heard of the Uchiha clan's sharing in its ability to copy anything it sees. He was glad that he was authorized to eliminate the Uchiha if necessary, since he abhorred it so much. Stealing styles and not having to work for it was considered sacred, a cardinal sin for those who followed martial arts as they did. Saiga looked at the target picture once again, but something caught his eye this time. It was the expression on the boy's face. It reminded him of the one person he once considered a critical threat. This boy, he looks like cousin Minato, only younger. Could he really be? And could father know if he is Minato's son and related to us by blood? His potential will be phenomenal even without the Kermiso blood within him. Saiga wondered but shook it off. Loki, I need you to get more information on the Uzumaki. Do whatever it takes, Saiga ordered as he himself withdrew into his thoughts once again. I will reclaim my daughter and keep the secrets of the Karaso for myself. Shizuo was foolish for protecting her from me. En route to Rice Country, pelting through the forest at a rapid clip was the sound team, making their way back to their master with one of their prizes sitting in a barrel lashed to Sakin's back and little Sakura under a forced sleep being carried by Karen. Kabuto did that when Sakura wouldn't stop struggling, and Orchumu would have their heads if she was damaged in any way. Initially, Sakura's struggling had set them back a little bit, so they were running behind. They had only just reached the halfway point when Tuya set the barrel down when it was her turn to carry it, complaining of stiff shoulders, but Karen knew that it was a ploy to buy enough time for the inevitable rescue team to catch up to them and leaving them obvious clues. Their plan was to stall as much as possible, since Karen made frequent excuses to stop and check on the Ikea's status, since she was the only one among them who really knew anything about the cursed seals. Even Kabuto wouldn't question her on that subject, so her ruse would work as long as she made it believable. Each stop took more than 15 minutes, and she checked him twice an hour, buying the search team's valuable time. Back in the village, in a matter of hours, Jiraiya had gathered together a team to track down the escaped convict, kidnappers, and the victim. Over the course of an hour, as the word spread, many who were friends of the family, Naruto, or both were throwing themselves at the Hokage, begging to be allowed onto the team. Even Ino had volunteered to go on the mission, and a member of the Inuzuka volunteered to go to make amends for KBA's deplorable actions. One Inuzuka Hana, a Chunin and expert tracker and medic. Okay, team assignments are Shikamaru, Hana, Naruto, and Ino on Team 1. On Team 2, we have Kasara, Tada, Hinata, and Rachi. Jiraiya rattled off as the mentioned shinobi confirmed it. He was just about done when the door burst open again to reveal Chiaki clad in her old Chunin vest and kunoichi clothes ready for combat. Hokage-sama Chunin Haruno Uzuaki Chiaki, requesting reinstatement and assignment to the rescue retrieval team. She practically demanded determination burning as brightly in her eyes as it did in her elder sister's. I'm sorry, Chiaki, but the slots have been. Jiraiya was about to tell her, but a voice cut him off. I'll stay. I don't want to stand between a mother and her daughter. Sakura is my best friend. I wanted to see her again and help to make up for the horrible things I said and did to her in Naruto, but it would be better if her mother went instead of me. Ino stated. Jiraiya had to admit trading a rookie genin out for a seasoned Chunin was a good trade-off. She turned to Nar and gave him a kiss on the cheek. It was a friendly one. Almost platonic, but the other females in the room could tell there was real affection within it. Hinata and Rachi weren't terribly happy about what had transpired, believing that Ino was only after him due to his advancement in rank and skill, just like when she was after Sasaki. Stay safe out there, Naruto. Shika, she told him and told her teammate. Shikamaru, nodding. Ino, we need to talk. When I get back, Nar replied, turning sharply to the door. She simply smiled as she went home, satisfied with his desire to at least converse with her. Jiraiya was reluctant to allow Chiaki to join this mission. Chiaki, did you even get released by the hospital before you changed and came here? Jiraiya sighed. URME. Hey. No, she replied sheepishly, making him sigh again. Just like your sister, he muttered as he cleared his throat. Since there's no knocking any sense into you, you can take Yamanaka's slot on Naruto's team. Now, the most direct route to Rice Country will pass through the Valley of the End. This is the route you all should take. Heading in, we have no idea as to their force strength, but two of the known shinobi are Yukushi Kabuto, a Junin-class trader and medical specialist, and Kaya Kimaru, one of Orochimaru's most fanatical supporters and the last known user of the Shikatsu Miku. It allows him to use his own bones as weapons, and both of them are extremely dangerous A-class threats. If they manage to take off the seals we put on the Uchiha, he will also be a threat around B rank due to the cursed seal in his eyes. All enemy shinobi are expendable. However, special priority goes to the Uchiha. He must not be allowed to escape. Jiraiya stressed as they left for the gate. Konoha main gate. The two teams were going over final checks to equipment and getting final farewells and advice before they left on the mission. Rina, who wasn't a kunoichi, couldn't go on a sanctioned mission, so she was forced to remain behind, but not without giving her affection to her husband-to-be. Nar stumbled back to his team, Hana ribbing him slightly. Lucky brat, she chuckled as Kasara and Tada added to it. Yeah, but he's a good kid. Kasara added to it. Those girls of his are all really cute. Muchin is a smoking hottie, but her grandfather is insane. But who is this lovely vision here? Tada asked of Hana Anuka. Hana, Chunin, and medic. She replied playfully, much to Kasar's eye as Jiraiya appeared at the gate to see them off. All of them snapping to attention. You all know what has to be done, so I won't beat a dead horse. All I ask is that you all watch out for each other out there. Dismissed, Jiraiya bellowed, sending them on their way. Kami be with you all, he muttered, heading back into the village. Jiraiya turned back but didn't notice a group leave from over the walls. Ah, we're going to help rescue Sakura Aiken, right? Apache asked Mew, who slapped a hand over his mouth. Shush, we need to follow them, without them knowing, and I don't want grandfather and the others to stop us. I don't want any of them to get hurt if I can help it. Mew replied, Sugar behind them, agreeing. She had followed them stealthily and keeping an eye on the only remaining family. She has left. Do not worry, Mew. We already know and I have come to help. Shigur thought as she tailed them. She had gained an semi-autonomous status in return for her excellent service record, somewhat like what the Sannin enjoyed. In through the gates right. After the main group left came Kakashi back from an A-rank mission out of country and intending on resting a while. It seemed as though since he threw himself at Naruto's mercy, the nightmares were waning but still frightening. He knew that he would have to work very hard to earn his forgiveness. I wonder what happened, he asked himself as he ventured over towards the tower to make his report and sleep. Outlying forests near the rice fire border, the teams made their way through the forest, following the scent left behind by the kidnappers and escaping. Shikamaru thought that something was suspicious, like all of these clues being left behind on purpose and leading them into a trap. Shikamaru then advised that they split apart into two teams, one led by Hana and her Hamaru triplets and the other by Chiaki Haruno. Hana led her team in the direction of the clues while Chiaki and her team took a parallel route to avoid everyone getting caught in an ambush and to cover their backs until they felt a dark and heavy chakra pulse rip through the forest just ahead of them. Near them, Karen had halted the team so she could check on the Uchiha's seal again. However, Kabuto was growing suspicious of her behavior. Karen, a word, my dear. He told her sweetly. She suddenly jolted in fear. Not matter how hard she tried to fight it, she was quivering with fright. She wasn't meant to be a fighter, only a scientist, so she would stand no chance against Kabuto. He slowly backed her into a tree as he stared her down, taking in her current state. He now knew that something was wrong. Oh, Karen betraying us, are we? He asked her, in a mocking tone. What? No, I wasn't. She tried to protest but Kabuto grabbed her by the throat. You are a very poor liar. Karen-chan, I know that you have been stalling us so that a rescue team can catch up. But why? Let's see. Oh, I know. You are an Uzumaki just like Sakura-chan here. And too. Yua-chan too. My lord Orochimaru will have much breeding stock to choose from once we return. Kabuto stated aloud dramatically, mocking the two kunoichi. That Four Eyes found out. Tuya growled as she leapt over next to Karen. Knocked Kabuto away as she handed the girl off to Karen. Karen, run. I'll hold them off as long as I can. Just run back toward Konoha and hand the girl off to them. 2. Yuya ordered, but to Yuya, Karen tried to reason with her, but was cut off. Just go. Make sure that Brad gets home. Yuya screamed as she activated her curse seal to fight the others off. Karen was about to run when Kabuto intercepted her with a glowing palm to her chest, making her lungs seize up. I'll take that, Kabuto said quickly as he snatched the girl from Karen and leapt away just in time for the Konoha team to show up. Tuya didn't notice them, but saw Kabuto take Karen down. I won't let you take her to that snake bastard. Tuya yelled as he ripped after Kabuto. The rest of the team following them. What the hell happened here? They were fighting each other, but why? Shikamaru asked. I don't know, but that girl, she feels familiar, Nar said quietly. Help Sakura, Karen croaked out in pain. Before collapsing, Hannah, help her, yelled to the team medic, who complied immediately. Hannah immediately found the problem and re-expanded her lungs, allowing her to breathe properly. Ow, what did you say about my daughter? Chiaki asked the teenage girl firmly. Karen looked at her and noticed that she had the same eyes as the girl and herself. And to Yuya as well. Her mother helped to Yuya. She is trying to rescue her and take her back to your village. I stalled them as long as I could. Karen grated out. So, that was on purpose. What do you have to gain by helping us? Shikamaru asked. I'm Anazumaki too. I thought Yuya and I were the last. We decided that we needed to protect that girl, she replied painfully. Naruto's eyes went wide. There are more. We aren't the last, Nar thought as he strode toward her. I'm an Uzumaki too. Where is their meeting point? He asked her gently. It's the Valley of the End. That is where they are headed. Karen answered her. Hannah Enshin, can you take her back to the village for treatment? She deserves the benefit of the doubt. Nar asked of the older Chunin. Of course, Narut_. I'll be back as quickly as I can, Hannah answered as she hefted her onto her shoulders and sped off. Now that we know where they're going, let's go. Nar growled, the rest seeing no reason to argue. All right, let's go. Kasara roared as they all tore off in the direction of the fight they witnessed. MW, Apache, and Shigur landed in the clearing behind them, trying to keep up with them. But stay back far enough where they wouldn't be spotted. They overheard the whole dilemma, but opted to continue on, hoping that Hannah made it back to the village. All right, back in the village, Hannah had just made it to the village's gate in a very short amount of time with a wounded person, sprinting nearly the whole way to the hospital to admit her. Upon getting her there, she immediately reported to the Hokage, who was just debriefing Kakashi from his mission. Hannah, what happened? You haven't even been gone for a couple of hours. Jiraiya exclaimed. She quickly explained the whole situation to him, making his eyes go wide. There are more. I guess it's a good thing that they turned on old Snake Face to protect what little family they have left, or they would have been long gone by now. Jiraiya mused as he thought of what to do. However, a solution presented itself. Hokage-sama, I will go and back them up further and to replace Hannah. I'm sure she's tired and I can use my summon hounds to track them down and catch up, Kakashi said, volunteering to go in her place. He'd been waiting for a chance to redeem himself in Naruto's eyes and to make up for how much he failed his two remaining students. This was the chance he was waiting for. Are you sure, Kakashi? Can I really trust you do the right thing? Jiraiya grilled him. He needed to know whose side Kakashi was really on, the village or the Uchihas. Sasaki needs to be put down for the sake of everyone everywhere. If Orochimaru gets his hands on the Sharingan, no one anywhere will be safe. If he manages to get hold of Sakura, I will never be able to face Nar nor his parents or my friends in the afterlife. I'll do everything I can to make sure Sakura comes home safely and Sasuke's head comes off. Kakashi swore. Jiraiya scrutinized the now seemingly reformed scarecrow with a very critical eye as if he were peering into his very soul. Finally, after a tense moment, Jiraiya shifted. All right, Hideki, go join them and for Kam's sake, help bring them all home. Jiraiya dismissed him. Kakashi was gone in a flash, racing out to back up the rescue team at a breakneck pace. I have to get there in time. I need to redeem myself. The copy nin chanted in his mind as he increased his speed even more. Jiraiya turned his attention to the girl that Hannah had brought back. Karinade had already been there to see the girl and further treated the injury Kabuto inflicted on her as well as questioning her. Now, let's cut to the heart of the matter, shall we? Inquired, looking like a lioness prowling the foot of her bed. Karen was almost willing to face Kabuto again, seeing the expression on the face of one of the Sannin. She steeled herself and explained what had happened. Well, I suppose I should start at the beginning. You see, Karen went into detail in explaining the situation that caused them to rebel against Orochimaru about them being Utsuaki. Tsunade ordered that the blood sample that had been drawn be tested against Naruto's and her own, and she got the results back halfway through the story. As she's telling the truth, it can't be. Gasped in shock. She turned and regarded the girl. Your story checks out. Blood can't lie, especially the blood in our veins. There are very unique markers in our DNA that cannot be found anywhere else. Yes, I am an Uzu. Maki too by my grandmother, but I am a Sinu as well. Due to your actions in assisting our pursuit forces by slowing them down, we would like to offer you asylum here. Offered B. But what about Tuya? She's just like me. She tried to give me a chance to escape back here with the child, but Kabuto cut me off and took her. She went after him, but she can't fight them all off alone. Karen replied, her worry clear as day. Don't you worry. The forces we have in pursuit have already caught up and have engaged them. Thanks to the time you bought for them, assured her. Back with the pursuit team, the teams had quickly caught up to Kabuto and his team and a fight quickly ensued. One by one, the sound team peeled off to fight with the Konoha Hanan. First, Sakin had peeled away to fight the team of Hinata and Rachi. The twin-headed Nin regarded his opponents like one would a bug, something not worth his time. Looks like I got the easy draw. I'll be done with you two and be on my way shortly. He commented nonchalantly, but Hinata was in his face with a Juken strike to his hand. It was all she could strike as he pulled away, but it was no less effective. Sakin felt his hand go limp since she fried the nerves and left it unresponsive. Before he even had time to recover from his shock, Rachi let him have it with both barrels using her signature Sukan style and scored several damaging hits. The punishment continued for a few moments until he found a brief moment to activate his cursed seal. The resulting pulse of chakra pushed the pair away from him and gave him a little more breathing room, but his arm was still useless, just dangling at his side. Brother, why don't we separate for now? A seemingly disembodied voice suggested and go level 2. I don't see why not. If anything, we can rest for a bit after we've taken out the trash. Sakin replied as they felt another buildup of that dark chakra. Hinata's Byakugan eyes widened a bit, but Rachi had a plan already. Rush 'em, Hina-chan, I'll keep their attention on me while you shut them down. We can't waste time with these guys. She hissed to her fellow bride. To be. In a snap, Rachi launched a brace of weapons at the still transforming Nin. While Hinata rushed in behind them, Sakin was forced to dodge them, but sailed right into the path of the enraged Hyuga. He tried to swat at her to make her veer off course, but she slapped the pitiful strike aside easily and went into the Hakurokujo. Uyon-ho, shutting him down completely. Sakin and his conjoined twin were only half separated when they went down, looking like two torsos growing from one body. Sakin and Uken looked at their opponents with mortal terror in their eyes, frantically trying to reuse the seal, but their systems just wouldn't respond, like it wasn't even there. Not so smug now, are you? Rachi glowered down at the fallen Nin. Hinata's Bakugan enhanced scowl next to her, making the normally kind and gentle Girl look frightening. Hinata smacked him with a final blow to the head, taking him down and out for at least a couple of days. Without waiting, she and Rachi set to work on binding him and taking him back to the village so they could get back out there with the one they loved. Taeda and Kasara for the second fight. Kitaru had hung back to fight Kasara and Tada. In the beginning, Kitamaru thought that he had a glaring advantage over them since they seemed to favor taijutsu. But their immense speed and striking power knocked him for a loop. Whenever they connected, he had to resort to summoning his spiders to aid him in his fight. Kasara tried to shake them off, but she was eventually bitten. AWH the hell. She staggered until she collapsed. Her breathing labored. Tada was at her side in a flash. Kasara. He tried rousing her, but she was out for now. Her breathing was fine, as was her pulse. But her coloring was beginning to pale. You bastard. What did you do to her? Tada growled. You don't bother with trying to save her since won't be leaving here alive either. The Spider-Man wannabe sneered as more spiders came down at his target. Tada saw them and responded with a special technique he had been experimenting with. I hope this works for Kasar-chan Sake. He thought as he activated his state auto rhythm. Tada became a whirlwind of fists, creating a perimeter of blows that the spiders, no matter how numerous, could not penetrate. Hidemaru was now getting angry since his attacks weren't getting through. So, he decided to get personal, very personal. Using his special webbing, he crafted a bow for himself and used that same material for an arrow, which he aimed directly at Kasara and fired. Having only fractions of a second to react and still being in auto-rhythm mode, he was able to react more quickly and managed to snap her out of the way before the arrow struck, but got grazed for it. You got lucky that time, but how about another one? Hot shot. Hidemaru yelled as he attempted to transform into his second state. Like the others, this took a little bit of time, but Takada wasn't a tunin for nothing, so he recognized an opening when he saw one. Gathering his chakra into his legs, he darted towards the spider nin with alarming speed. Hidemaru barely had time to dodge the first incoming blow. After the transformation had completed before a second, impacted dead in the face, launching him away. Damn, I wanted to keep him here and punish him a little more, the ashen-haired pugilist grunted as he chased his quarry back down again, but he was nowhere to be seen. Where the hell is he? Tada muttered, but an arrow answered his question. He was able to avoid a critical hit, but his right shoulder had been pierced through, leaving a near gaping hole and crippling his effectiveness. What's the matter? Hot shot. Not feeling very well, the grotesque nin taunted as he strung up another shot and fired. This one hitting Tada's left leg and further robbed him of his mobility. Shit, Kasar-chan, he bit out through his pain. Reaching for her. Can't avenge your little girlfriend. Don't worry. After I finish you, she'll join you in hell. Hidemaru laughed as he strung another shot. But a sudden breeze brushed its way past him. Suddenly, he felt it impossible to breathe, as if in a spray of blood, Kitamaru's head slid from his body. The look of total shock forever frozen on his face. Tada was just as shocked that he and Kasara had been saved, but he couldn't see or even detect their rescuer. Suddenly, the air shifted behind him, and he whirled around as quickly as he could to find one of the Ryu Zanpaku masters standing there. Sugar, you don't know how glad I am to see you, he grunted out as he tried to stand himself up, using a tree for support. Just stay here. I will signal a medic team that is coming soon to your location, she told him as she waited there for them to arrive. In the meantime, she took to administering a small antivenom of Azumi's design to Kasara that brought some color back to her cheeks, much to Tada's comfort. He cradled her head and released a shuddering breath, thankful that she was going to live through this. Kasar's eyes slowly opened up to see her longtime friend staring back at her, a sad smile on his face. Takea, what happened to me? She asked. You got bitten by one of those spiders, but Shigure helped me save you. I don't know what I would have done if I lost you, too, he confided in her. Kasaro was stunned to hear such a confession from him, but was somewhat moved by it nonetheless. However, she still had a reputation to uphold. Don't get all mushy on me, but thanks, she replied as they waited for a medic to arrive to flush the poison from her system completely. Further on towards the rice fire border, Kabuto and Kimaru felt the barrel they carried begin to shake. He's almost ready. Good, Kabuto commented as they continued on their way and met up with the contingent of Odo shinobi they had brought along just in case they were pursued. These forces were meant to give Kabuto and Sasaki enough time to escape beyond the border with their additional prize, Sakura. But they hadn't expected Karen and Tuya to turn on them and for the pursuing forces to be so numerous. God damn it. Get your back here, Four Eyes. 2. Yuya roared, her cursed seal still active. Ah, to Yuya-chan, how nice of you to join us. But I'm afraid that you've just crashed a private affair, and I really take offense to that. Kabuto taunted, turning to the captain of the Odo shinobi. Keep the traitor entertained, he ordered as he leapt off again. Tuya tried to leap off after him, but she was intercepted by seemingly more and more Odo shinobi. Damn it, out of my way, piss rags, she snarled, whipping out her flute and summoning her doki to fight. A little further away, Naruto, Shikamaru, and Chiaki had felt them come to a stop and stepped up their pace in an attempt to catch up. They made it to a huge clearing in the forest where they saw one of the Odo Kunoichi fighting a massive group of Odo shinobi and being overwhelmed by their sheer numbers. Damn, she won't last long like this. We have to help her since she tried to help us, Nar decided. Shikamaru was skeptical, but lately Nurad had changed. He wasn't the same knucklehead he used to be completely. He looked over to Chiaki and could see that her mind was made up. She is the ranking ninja here. Sigh. Shikamaru mentally groaned as they leapt in to aid her. What the hell are you doing? Four Eyes and his pet freak are getting away with that little girl. Tiyuya screamed at them, but they were already on it. I'll stay here and help her. Nar, you and Chiaki keep after them. Go. He yelled as he used something his father taught him since he decided to take his training more seriously. Kage Nui at his command. His shadow split into sharp tendrils and speared four shinobi that threatened to end too. Yuya, don't expect a thank you, hat, she glowered as she turned back to fighting the rest of them. Troublesome woman, he grumbled as he set to work. Nearby, Mew and Apache had been watching the whole thing unfold. Mew agreed to split off and help fight off the Odo shinobi while Apache took off after Sakura. Just before an Odo shinobi could bury his kunai into Shikamaru's back, his neck was broken by a terribly powerful kick. The blow sending his body flying away like a rag doll. In his place, a blonde-haired girl with generous endowment stood. Nar-san, I came to help you, so get up and keep fighting. Mew called out as she quickly dispatched another attacker. What the hell's with utter girl over there? She with you? Tuya asked Shikamaru, who shrugged. I've seen her before and she's from my village. I think she's Naruto's cousin or something like that. Shikika answered as they got back to work. Further on ahead, the barrel kept quivering and shaking violently. So, They stopped and set it down. The display went on for a few more moments until the barrel could no longer contain what was inside it. It exploded in a shower of wood, and there stood Uchiha Sasaki, reborn and more horrible than before. Ah, Sasaki, has been reborn. How very convenient. Kabuto smirked as little Sakura stirred and awoke due to the dark pulse of chakra. Ah, what's happening? Where's Mama and Naruto-nan? She asked frightened. So little Sakura-chan is awake. Now, don't try to run or else Kimiroken or Sasaki here will do terrible things to you. The four-eyed nin smirked at the little girl's mounting fear. What is she doing here? Sasaki sneering at the little girl. Orochimaru-sama desires her for a new breeding program that he is setting up. She is to be taken to him alive and unharmed. Kabuto ordered TCH. I don't take orders from lackeys like the two of you. I just want power. Sasaki sneered again. If you do as you are told, you will get that power. Understand? Kabuto retorted, not wanting to deal with this brat's high and mighty attitude. Sasaki seemed to back off and accept it for now. Good boy. Now we must be off before the pursuit forces can catch up to us again. Kabuto added, and they prepared to take off. But another pair burst into the clearing alongside one of the most massive human beings they had ever seen. Ah, give back Sakura-chan. The bronze-skinned giant bellowed. Mama Naruto. Nan Apache Sanakura cheered in delight. 3 of her favorite people were there to rescue her. TCH more pests. Kimiroken. Deal with them, Kabuto ordered. The emotionless nin nodding as he belted off to fight, but Apache interrupted, engaging him in a brutal fury and quickly proving to be more than a match for him. Valley of the End. The other 2 tried to get away with their prize, but Chiaki and Naruto were determined to not let them get away. After a few more minutes, they finally caught up with them at the Valley of the End. Hey, you 2 are persistent. I'll give you that. However, now you have us to deal with. Kabuto smirked as he lunged into disabled Chiaki, but she caught his hand and delivered a crushing palm heel to his nose, breaking it and forcing him back. You caught me by surprise last time. Boy, now I'm dead serious. Chiaki growled, her old skills and experience coming back to her. URG, so I underestimated you. Easily fixed. Kabuto hissed as he fixed his nose and engaged her in a furious taijutsu duel as Naruto and Sasaki faced off. I couldn't care less what those freaks want with the brat. I just want to prove I'm still more special than you. If I can kill you, I'll be that much closer to killing my brother. Sasaki sneered darkly, but another pair made their presence known with a burst of killing intent. So, you were Utsuaki Naroken. You seemed taller in the pictures, master. Agard showed me. The white-haired youth announced in a bored tone, and the other must be Uchiha Sasaki. I must admit that I am not impressed. The other youth added, more stout and muscular than his companion. And who the hell are you guys? I'm trying to get one of my family back and stop this traitor. Get out of the way, Nar yelled in irritation. You think you could beat me? Hey, this will be easy. Sasaki smirked darkly as he charged in, only to be shut down by an extremely nasty combo that knocked him unconscious and bleeding from his ears. Yanoan, that was unsatisfying, Kuken remarked in a bored tone, turning back to Nar. Who the hell are you guys? Nar asked, his eyes narrowing. They had to be nasty if they put Sasaki away like that. We are members of Yomi. Those who are opposed to the Katsujikan and those of Ryu Zanpaku. I am Pierrot Kuken, student of Agar Jam Sai. And Mui Boran. Tyrant introduced himself. And I am Boris Ivanov, disciple of Master Alexander Gar in Russian Command _ we challenge you to a duel of martial arts. Boris challenged just marital arts. We know of your shinobi status and we ask that you abstain from using enjutsu. It would be unsightly. Kairo laid out before him. Nar looked over to where Chiaki was taking on Kabuto and she was being overwhelmed. He managed to render her unconscious and was about to run off with Sakura until a final person intercepted him, the last person he expected to see. Kakashi. Nar asked aloud. I know I made a lot of mistakes, but it's time I stopped running from them and corrected them. Starting here, I won't let them take her away, and I will not let Sasaki escape punishment. The legendary Copy Nin announced as he engaged Kabuto with a fury that had not been seen from him in years, his sharing blazing with righteous fury. Nar now had much less to worry about as he turned back to them. Fine, let's get this over with so I can get Sakura-chan back home safe. Nar declared, his face now a mask of sheer will in focus as he wondered which one he would face. You will face me, Boris Ivanov. Boris declared as he leapt down to face his opponent. I will officiate over the duel, Shira stated, leaving it to truly be a one-on-one duel. Fight, he called out as the two fighters clashed initially, but broke off to gauge each other's stances. This guy, he fights with grapples like Aki's sensei. I wonder. Nar wondered as he formed a plan in his head. I must expect trickery for a ninja. They are weak when they try to fight toe-to-toe with martial artists. Boris surmised as he lunged into grapple with his smaller opponent. But since Nar was smaller but also faster, he was able to evade the grapple and began to work him over using Ma-sensei's techniques. Nar threw out a hailstorm of open palm blows, sharp kicks, and wrapped it all up with the Shaun Shu to knock his opponent away and into a tree, toppling it. Boris staggered and struggled to stand back up as Pierrot gauged the young shinobi's skill and fighting spirit. Utsumakiun appears to have quite the fighting spirit. He is still young yet, though only time will tell if he will be a worthy opponent if he lives that long. The life of a shinobi is rife with danger. The Mui bore and disciple mused as the fight rolled on. You pack quite the punch for one so small. Ninja, I see that my time is not wasted, Boris commented as he got Nar in a clinch and proceeded to beat the living hell out of him with repeated blows to his torso and finally ending it with a sophisticated armbar combined with a chokehold. Struggle all you want, it will make no difference. I will complete my mission and return to my master. Boris stated in a voice that was almost robotic, the look of a stone-cold killer in his eyes. Why you? Nar struggled against the hold, trying to wriggle his way out of it. Finally, he managed to break his hold. Freaking psycho. Naruto bellowed, twisting free and introducing the heel of his foot to the crown of Boris's skull, knocking him unconscious just as Kakashi withdrew a lightning-covered fist from Kabuto's chest. Nar, are you all right? Kakashi inquired, looking at the blonde's haggarded condition. Why, yeah, I'm fine, but don't let them get away with the temper soccer Aiken. Nar yelled, seeing Kabuto's wound heal quickly. The way Oto Nin quickly grabbed Sash, made a few hand seals, and seeped into the ground and escaping the battle with at least one of their objectives. Damn it, you damn clowns ruined the mission. Nar turned to scream at the two mysterious fighters that had ambushed him, but they too had vanished. Who are those guys? They sounded like they at least knew of you, Kakashi asked. Yoni-chan, who were they? They looked really mean, Sakura asked innocently. I don't know. Maybe the masters or Hayato Jigi would know. Let's just get Sakura-chan and Shiaki Obasan out of here and make sure the others are all right. Come on, Sakura-chan. Climb on my back, Nar suggested as Kakashi nodded, summoning a few of his tracker hounds. "Hey, guys, take us to where the others are," he ordered the nin hounds, howling in acknowledgement as they bounded off, the humans after them like a shot. Naruto, carrying Sakura, and Kakashi carrying Chiaki. Konoha main gates. All teams had agreed to meet back at the main gates upon completing their objectives. So far, Hinata, Rachi, Kasara, Teda, and Shikamaru had shown up to Yuya, coming with him, since she requested to see the rest of the Uzumaki, and she did try to stall them as long as she could. Behind them were Shigure, Miu, and Apachai, who simply pummeled his opponent until he couldn't play anymore and fell asleep, meaning that Kimaru had died on his feet. Miu, Shikamaru, and Tuya managed to repel their attackers, the remaining handful numbering in the single digits compared to the 100 that had come originally. Kasaro was making a rapid recovery from Kidomaru's venom, and Tada was having his wounds mended, while Shigure eagerly awaited the return of her adopted younger sibling. Jiraiya was also there at the gates, ready to dispense justice on the spot when the Uchiha was dragged back. Sununade and Shizune ready to treat any more injuries that came through. Finally, Ino had shown up, eager to patch things up with Naruto after so long. Finally, Hinata's Bakugan enhanced vision caught sight of a group of familiar signatures approaching them at high speeds, drawing closer every second. The signature then became close enough for her to make out who they were. It's Naruto. He has Sakura-chan with him. Hideki-san is following him with Shiaki-san over his shoulder, and he had his nin hounds lead